Hey guys, it's Cindy over paper.old.new. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me today. As you can hear, I'm still a little under the weather, but I thought I would come on here and we will do some making with my mess. As I stated in the last one, I am looking at starting up another mini series for greeting cards. Do you see this box? This is all cards plus this bag over here. This too. So yeah, I have a ton of them to use. So our first video is going to be a little thing that I sort of fuddled around with, and I saw this cute little bird picture on the front of one of the cards, and I said, wouldn't that look cute? You know, framed with some nice scrapbook paper or whatever, and then embellished, which I did select some embellishments for it. I don't know where they went. Ah, there they are. So we'll do that later. First, I want to show you how I did this. And then in here is a pocket. And then on the back, I put a tuck. Okay. Now, the inside, I didn't do anything to, because my thought for this was, if this is a page in my journal, I would glue this down like this as either a top load pocket or a side load pocket. And then this would flip out and you would have this pocket here. Okay. Your other option, of course, is to sew this in, make it a page or a folio, in which case you might want to cover the sentiment here and with paper for journaling, or maybe you like the sentiment and you just want to leave it. I don't know. But those are the options with this, and maybe we'll do a little bit of both depending on what the insides of the cards look like. So let's go ahead and look at how I did this. It's not hard, and I'm excuse me, really looking forward to sharing this with you. I think you guys are going to have to bear with me because my cough is still very present. Excuse me. Okay, I want these, but I need that to be all the way. I need enough to cover the inside as a pocket. So let's make sure we have enough to do that. So this is going to go in here. And then this is going to fold out here on the outside. Okay. It's just going to kind of wrap around the edge of the card. Right? And then what we do is we cut off the excess on this end. This on the other one, it was there was less excess. The card was bigger. So this strip that I'm cutting off right now is what I made my tuck out of. So for this one, we'll just have to cut it down to make the tuck. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off so that I know where to cut my oval. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we are going to figure out where this gets placed, right about the middle. All right, and I might have to use this one. Let me see how far out this goes. I don't want to go outside the border of the card. Okay, now the other thing I wanted to say is, as far as what you cut your, I'm using, this is a Creative Memory shape cutter. So, I mean, what you use to cut your shape is obviously up to you. If you can cut ovals or something with your Cricut or your Sizzix, or, you know, or you're really good at like folding it in half and cutting a shape out of it, or you wanted to do that tear trick where we tore frames, which maybe I'll do with one of these. Just however you need to get the hole in the middle here. All right, and what I'm going to do then is, ooh, we probably need to trim it so I know where middle is. Okay, so let's cut. Let's cut on both sides, because otherwise I'll put this down, and when I go to put the oval in the middle, I'll put it too low or too high or something. So we don't want to do that. All right. Now, we want it in the middle, so what I'll do is I'll put this right about center, and then I'll put pencil marks, because the pencil marks will end up getting cut out. Okay? This is how I have to do it to use this cutter. I don't know if you guys have other ways to, cut with stuff, or, you know what? I don't know. Some of her hair might just be under the frame. I don't want to cut that oval that big. That's going to cut away too much of the scrapbook paper and make the edges, top and bottom, really thin. Okay, so there's our oval. And then, of course, these shapes, I hold on to them. Of course, the gray one is missing. Oh, no, there it is. So I hold on to these because I can make stuff out of this, right? So that's not going anywhere. That's going in my scrap box or something. Okay. So then we put this one here. Now, on the last one, I forgot to ink it. Yeah, that'll look cute. I like the quilting with her. She looks like she's, in the country in a meadow with her puppy and all that sort of thing. There's my ink. And I'll do that in a minute. I'm going to ink the frame. I didn't do that last time on that one. And then when I went to ink other stuff, I was like, well, I didn't do it on the front. So I don't want it to look different. So we're going to ink the inside of the frame. Yeah, this cold has been lingering with me for a little bit here. And it's got a decent cough to go with it, so if I have to stop every once in a while and take a drink, you know why. It's messing with my throat, guys. Okay, now we're going to put... We're going to put glue all over this part. You know what? I'm going to get a page down here so I don't make a mess. You know what else I'm going to do? Because you know what I keep doing? I leave the lid off my ink. And you would think, oh, well, you don't want it to dry out. Well, yeah, but you know what else I don't want to do? Lay my project in it. Because I have done that several times and gotten ink all over something. Because I laid whatever I was working on, I laid it down on my ink pad and it soaked ink out of the pad. Not fun. But anyway, all right, so yeah, this will be our first project with the greeting cards. I feel like a couple of the projects are going to be variations on a theme, kind of an idea. I had another thing that I made that I really like that I'm thinking we will revisit for one of these. Might be next week. But I mean, your greeting card projects are kind of, I don't want to say limited, because obviously they're only limited by your imagination. And there's always the possibility of doing like we do with altered playing cards, where we just cover up the whole greeting card. I mean, whenever I see projects like that, that's not to say that I don't like those projects, but whenever I see projects like that, I'm like, but I could just cut a card that size out of scrapbook paper and collage on it. I don't need if I'm going to cover the whole thing up, I'm looking for my scraper. If I'm going to cover the whole thing up, I don't need a greeting card to make what I'm making. Does that make sense? So, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But that's always been my thought whenever I see things where you take a greeting card or you take a playing card and you completely cover it up. I'm like, well, I mean, you could do that to anything. Because it's not showing anymore, so you don't know what it was. So, I mean, technically, you could cover anything like that. Okay. That's not to say they don't turn out really cute, because they do. I mean, the cards themselves are really cute when they're done. It's just that if I can't see the playing card anymore, I can just cut a piece of anything that size. I suppose the fact that you don't have to cut it is... it's already a specific size. You don't have to cut out a piece. I don't know. That's just my thought on it. I'm not trying to, take away from anybody's altered playing card projects. That's what every time I look at it, that's my thought is that if you're covering it all up, why do you have to use a playing card? So I try to make, when I do my greeting card projects, I try to find ones where I really like the picture, and I want to make something where you still see the picture, or at least part of the picture. Now, I understand covering up the sentiments, because you don't necessarily want the sentiments. But, yeah, I don't know. That's just my take on it. So, I am going to glue this down on the bottom. Okay, and that makes your pocket. Now this one is a good one for sewing in because, I mean, that's really nice. It's actually kind of aged. And I would probably, oh, no, not that. Sorry, guys. That cough, man. I had to get, I had to get a drink. Anyway, okay, so for this one, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, this would be a good one to sew in just because of how nicely, this is kind of sort of aged. So it would be kind of a neat writing space, I guess. So I would probably go ahead and, well, as I'm doing, ink this up. Maybe fold this back. And ink this. And then this could be a sew-in one, right? Okay, we have some excess overhang, which I didn't really pay any attention to the fact that I had until I tried to open this card and fold it back on itself. And that got in my way. Okay. So there we have that. And then what I would do is I would take a piece of this to do a tuck on the back or a pocket. I mean, it doesn't have to be a tuck. But I would want to cover the back. So to keep with this kind of quilted theme, I think I'll go with this. And basically what we'll do is we'll cover this back side in glue. Oh, you know what? I went off to get a drink and I think I left the pin out of it. So now it's being finicky. Doesn't take long for it to get finicky. So let me just clear this and then we'll be on our way, hopefully. Put the pin up there so I don't lose it. Okay, I think. All right, let's get the corners. No, it's still clogged. Let's get this out. Do this. Having glue trouble today. Oddly enough, this little bottle of Fabri-Tac was in a like I bought a excuse me. I bought like one of those grab bags, and it had this little bottle of fabric. It was opened. I mean, it wasn't, but it was like over 3/4 of the way full. It was hardly used. I was like, I'll take it. Not for nothing, glue's expensive. Okay, so like that, and then we'll take this off of here. So I've made one that I would glue in and one that I would sew in. So these are kind of multi-purpose, I guess. Like that. And get up against there. Like that. Tell you what, guys, this little scratch in the back of my throat drives me crazy. I apologize that I have to keep stopping. Okay. Well, almost okay. It's a little sliver right up there. All right, that's good. Okay, and then what we do is we take that piece of, didn't I have it out? That's really weird. Set my scraps off over here. Here it is. I did have it out. And we're going to take a piece of this and make a tuck. Right? It's probably a big enough tuck. We'll mark it, cut it. I'm doing very little measuring today. Can you tell? Clogged head, stuffy nose, cough. I just don't feel like getting out. I don't know. I'll say that, and then the next one I'll do all kind of measuring on. Okay. We'll save that little strip for something else. And on the back of here, we put our tuck. Now I will have to, we'll have to cut it off up here. Although, remember what we've done before. I could take it and go like this. Could be the beginnings of a little decorative tab on the other side. No, I don't like it. But that does tell me where to cut, so put this here. Could I probably do that with scissors? Yeah, but this cold has got my brain fogging, and I can't seem to do any of the things I would normally do. Like, I think I just cut that short. Maybe not. All right. I like rounded corners on my tucks, and we'll go ahead and ink it since we inked the other side. I like to make flippy things, I guess, out of my greeting cards. Trying to preserve the images. I mean, part of the reason I bought the card was because I liked some of the images. I think it's funny that I couldn't get glue to come out of this earlier, and now it's oozing. It's still not coming out, but it was oozing a second ago. Guys, I have a love-hate relationship with this glue. It doesn't behave. Okay. It's very naughty. All right. And we'll put that down there. Oop. Okay, and that one's done except for any little decorative embellishments. I think these are really cute. I love that. So, yeah, if you find one where you really like the front cover, so then, you know, this is a great opportunity to kind of make them decorative. Now, so we've done two that go this way. This one, like I said, this one I intended to glue in, which is why it's like this. And then this one this is intended for sewing in so that you have this as its own page. So yeah, I think these are great. Now, let's try some with the idea of the pictures going this way. You could still do this with these. Your biggest problem is going to be whether or not they'll fit in your journal. So, like, for example, how wide is this one? This is 6.5. Okay, so, I mean, sorry about that. So I have this one here, and I'm wondering, you like my gold wood grain? I'm wondering if we could trim this down and then use it. Let me see how wide my... I'm debating because if I cut... Let's put it this way, because I'm probably going to cut the 1/2 inch off the other side. Actually, I'll probably take 3/4 of an inch off. So it's going to be right there, right next to the boat. I think that'll still be okay, and we can make the oval go this way. All right, so let me cut it. I'm right-handed, so I got to do it on this side. All right, so let me cut it this way. We're just going to cut this side off. This is so that it will overhang a page in a journal that I make. I don't want it to, or, you know, I don't know, when I first cut them off, they always look a little weird. Okay, so I was thinking I could put the wood grain on here. I think that would look really neat. And then I can embellish it with other. Maybe like this. Let's find out how wide it is. Is this going to be something I can easily double? Does it go to the 1/2 mark, or is it like just past the 1/2 mark? It looks like it's just past the 1/2 mark. Oh, I didn't count it though. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Okay, so I need to go maybe just past the 9-inch mark. I should do what I've done with all the other ones, and you know what that is, don't you? The problem is I want the gold on the front. So we're going to take our chances with this and hope for the best. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Slightly, I don't want to cut through anything. Slightly over the 9. Hopefully that's straight. Okay, we've got our piece, and then this goes, hopefully, it goes in here. It's short. You know what that means, don't you? Means we're going to cut a little off of the bottom. Not a lot. just enough, hopefully. I keep burying my cutter. I just had it and I still managed to bury it. Okay, hopefully that's just enough. Yeah, maybe, hopefully, kind of, sort of. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now the only thing I need to do is figure out how tall I need it. I feel like I'm doing this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3/4. That's right. I cut it 5 3/4. See? I'm telling you, this cold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3/4. This cold has had my head in a fog for like days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3/4. I can't do anything. I'm just like, it's like total fog all the time. It's actually kind of scary, if I'm honest. Okay. They are folding slightly wider than the card, but I'm not too concerned about that because this is a... Now I buried my... This is one of those things where it's either going to be on the other side of a page or it's going to be on the other side of a signature or, you know, like that. So it's not... It doesn't need to be perfectly... All right, and then we're just going to get an oval cut out of here. So we're going to put it here, the center, maybe slightly high, and then we're going to cut it. I have one more of these sideways facing ones, and I thought maybe, depending on how much time, I thought maybe we would do a yeah, cute, right? I like it. All right, I thought maybe we would do one with a torn frame so that you could see what I meant by that. I think you guys still remember. I mean, we did it. Actually, we did it in another Making with My Mess project. So hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about, but just in case, we're going to do it as a variation on this project and see how it looks. Okay. I'm telling you guys, this throat of mine. Trying to I guess I'm trying to... I probably should have taken a small hiatus and just kind of came on and told you guys I was sick and I'd be back when I was better. And I don't know, this... I don't know what's going to happen this week. If I can't get more stuff accomplished because of my throat, then you might only just see the one this week. I'm hoping not, but I just saw bad words. I didn't notice it, so I apologize if anybody noticed it. I try not to, but they are modern. The pages I use for my glue pages, they are modern books, so. Right, let me make sure I do this right, because it'll really upset me if I don't. Okay, so This goes on here like this. Yeah, please just sort of cooperate. Oh, okay, you're short. Well, if you're short, we'll try and cut on the... Okay, I think that's got it. It's a little short, so we'll be trimming at the top. All right, and then we do the same thing. See, this is over. There's a pretty decent gap there. So this is actually extending the edge of this a little bit. But that's okay. I mean, I don't have a problem with it being a little wider than it was before I started. All right, and then what we'll do is we'll punch our notch. We will cut the card. I love it when my ruler moves. That's my favorite. Yeah, while I was paused getting a drink because I was coughing again, my daughter came down. She's trying to make a costume for herself. She creates characters and stories and things, and she is trying to make a costume that looks like one of the characters she's created. So this is all made up in her head. And it's been very interesting. And she was down here, and I was giving her some fabric that she wants to dye. And we had to cut it. So my scissors were actually back there where she was, where we were cutting the fabric. Okay, so let's do this real quick. And then I have the frame variation that we'll do. And then I have one other variation that I wanted to try. And I don't know how that one will go, but we're going to give it a shot. My naughty word paper. Okay. Everything's disappearing. I love it when all my stuff disappears. You know what? I have a whole new supply of rags. So let's just get one of these bad boys down here. I've got a glue page down. I'm still getting it all over my cutting mat. Okay. I'm a mess, guys. This is what happens when I'm sick. Okay, so that's the front of this one. Now this one flips this way. So if this was a flip up, this is going to be a side pocket. If I had been, because this folds over. The way this is made, it folds, the frame folds over to make the pocket. So this is going to be a side tuck pocket. And this would go on the top of a page, like that, right? Let me see about, I've got some paper over here to the side, something to do on the back. I wasn't going to put the same exact thing. What about some of this brick on here? Like that. Not the flowers necessarily, but the brick. What do you think? You know what I should say? That you could write on that. Actually, since it's got to go down as an uptuck, you could write on that. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll glue this down on here. And it'll be an over the page. Now, you could, if you didn't want to glue it in, you could, of course, clip it in. I mean, it can still be journaling space on the inside of the card. You would just have to paper clip it in. Or however you want to clip it. Right? So when I say it has to be glued in as an uptuck, it doesn't. Obviously, it can be removable. Okay, get that down there. Very interesting textures on this one. Okay, and then we'll cut it off. It's all the talking. I mean, I'm assuming that's what it is. I found them and then I lost them. Now I found them again. See how long it takes me to lose them. All right, so that, very interesting piece of paper there. And then, of course, whether you're using this as an up tuck, like up. So if I was to put this on the page and glue it, I can use it as an up tuck there. Or it can clip in, and this can be journaling space. This can still get a pocket. Like we did before when they were this way, it would get a tuck. We can put a pocket on it. We need to cut this to 5 3/4, right? That's what we cut the page down to, the thing down to. Actually, let's cut a strip off the size we want the pocket, and then I'll just cut that to 5 3/4. I'm trying to waste as little paper as possible. We'll just make it like 2 inches high. Just a little pocket to tuck something in. Like that. Throw that over there. Take this and make it 5 3/4. Okay, and then that should fit on here, like this. Right? Yes. Slightly over. It's slightly too wide, guys. I mean, it's like a hair. I probably could have just done that with scissors, but okay. Everything's like slipping away. Oh, I didn't ink it. Daggone it. I like it better when the edge of the frame is inked. I don't know if I can do it now because, well, I've started, so we're going to go around it, whether it is working or not. I mean, whether it's working well or not. This, I always feel like I'm getting it on the picture. And that's not necessarily what I want to do. I just want to do the edge of the frame. Okay, so like that. Now, do this and this, and we're going to do it off to one side because I like that look sometimes. And get my ink. Sorry if I get quiet. Like I said, I think the more talking I do, the more I cough. Okay. So then we have this. So we have to glue this down. Wait, I don't want to glue it. I just want to glue it to the back. Because of that overhang, it was going to glue to the... Okay. All right, and then we have a little pocket on there like that. Now that means if you do glue this in as an up tuck, you don't want to, obviously you don't want to clip it there because it'll mess up your pocket. Okay, so that's 3 made. All right, give me a second, guys. Okay, I have 2 other cards here. I have this one, and I have this one. Now, this one's going to have to be, this one is a landscape. So this one is one of those ones that's going to have to be cut down to fit. And I think I'll take it off of this side. I'm taking off about 3/4 of an inch again. Like that. And then the idea for this one would be that we want to, let's see, what did I take out? Maybe we'll use this. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Okay. So basically what we would want to do, use this side, is we would put this on here and fold it around. Let's see how tall our thing is. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4.5, not quite. It's like a little more. So let's, do I really care? I don't. Okay, so we can just go ahead and put this in here like this, and then fold it like that. And when we lift it up on that side, it's still right side up, so we're good. Okay, now we're going to pull it all the way to this side. We don't always do a good job of lining it up, but we'll try our best. Wait, why did that fold crooked? Don't fold crooked. All right, so put that down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut it along the edge of the card here. Oh, that actually cut the edge of the card. So. Okay, so that pulls that away. All right. Okay, so I'm going to mark, I'm actually going to do this part with a pencil. So we're going to mark it right here, and we're going to cut that off, and then we'll do the tear trick. Does anybody remember what I'm talking about? I love these little tear frames. I got this idea from Tina over at Shabba Dabba Doo Dah. Hold on to that. Nope, that's upside down. It goes this way. Okay, so this is the part we're tearing. So basically what we do is, you guys are going to remember this as soon as I start doing it. I know you are. Basically what we do is we're going to look at where our house is there. So I just need to make sure that I tear out enough to get to there. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut like that. And then I like to cut like this and like this. And it gives me stuff to tear with. And you grab a hold of a piece of this and you just start tearing it out. Around in a circle. Whatever kind of shape you want to do. And of course, once you've torn it away, you can go back and, like, so now I put my picture back in here. like this, and I say, is that all I want? Or do I want more? Do I want to tear more away? Maybe I'm going to get rid of some of this white. And then, of course, there's the rolling technique where you can roll the white edges. So you can roll these back. If you have double-sided paper, this works really good, because then the other design, sometimes you can kind of just see a glimmer of it. Okay. Like that. All right. And then we're going to take our ink to it. All the way around. Sometimes I'll push it out like I'm unrolling what I rolled, just to make sure that I get that in case it peaks. And then just pull back with the thing and roll it back up again. But sometimes, I mean, if it was to come unrolled or something in your book because of the way the page closed over it or whatever, if you've distressed the white side, then it kind of won't be as noticeable that it came undone. All right. Got a little piece there. All right, and that, no cutter required, right? Okay, and then we're going to glue this on here. Sorry, guys. So this is this one's front. I don't know that I will. I mean, you get the idea of putting the pocket in. It would be a side load pocket again. This one again can be writing space. So if you wanted to clip it in, and then you would cover the back. So I just wanted to show you this particular frame version. And then I was going to show you the thought I had with that other card, because there was one other one that I wanted to show you. I'm not going to finish these two on camera just because time has gotten away from me. All this coughing I'm doing. It takes me forever to get anything done. Constantly stopping whatever I'm doing, even whether it's videos or what. I'm constantly stopping to clear my head, or, you know, get a drink, or, you know, whatever. I mean, it's the normal with everything. The normal things you deal with when you got a head cold, right? I mean, this isn't anything new and amazing. It's just annoying as always. Okay, when I'm scraping the glue, I'm going to kind of go in the same direction as my curled edges to sort of maybe burnish them down, so to speak. Like if I scrape it that way, hopefully it'll scrape them into a fold that will crease them and make them stay down. Okay, and then that's that one, right? The front. And then you would clip the top and make this your pocket, and you would just glue that closed. I mean, not that that takes long. So clip here. Of course, I would ink it, and then you just glue it down, right? Now, my other thought was to take something like this, where you have, like, you don't necessarily want the thinking of you part, but you don't mind this. The only way to have a friend is to be one. You know, I don't mind that quote. So maybe I don't mind that quote. Maybe I decide I want to put just cover up the thinking of you, and you could either do it with straight piece, or maybe you want to, how tall is this tag? Maybe I don't want to tear up too much of this paper. I love it when they do this. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I'm going to cut a piece 6 1/4 tall. It's going to be too tall, but I can cut that off. I don't think, actually, yeah, it is. Okay, so I'm going to cut it 6 1/4 tall this way. It's semi-directional. I know. How are you semi-directional? I got it. Okay, 1, 2, so, and we're going to go right here. And we're going to cut like this. Put this off to the side. And then what I was thinking was, you tear your edge. You don't want it to be too wavy, because you are trying to cover something up. So you need it to be on there and cover, right? And then maybe you ink the edge. So let's do this one where we'll ink the edge. Like this. And we'll glue it down on here. So you don't necessarily have to frame whatever the image is that you have in your on your thing. If you've got a sentiment, like I said, if you've got a sentiment off here to the side that you want to cover up, you could do it, maybe you could do it this way, where you just kind of put a decorative edge on the side of the card to cover up whatever we're looking at here. Okay, so I'll put this down. And I think I'll keep this like grungy brown bottom, because this, I cut it too tall, so it's gonna. Okay. I buried it. Okay, so that goes down on there like that. And then basically you would fold it under like we normally would, up against the edge of the card. And then we're going to bring it to, well, put it up against the edge of the card and then fold it. Maybe fold it. Cut it at the bottom fold. That one got closer. Make it straight. Basically what I did was folded it and tucked it back into the fold as much as I could, but it folded on a slant. So I'm following by where it folded at the bottom, because that's where I tucked it really good. And then we'll just take this piece off. And we'll do the same thing we did with our other one. I may have made a faux pas. That's okay, I can trim the bottom. Question is if I did. Okay. It's easier if you do the, if you tuck it on the inside and wrap it around, it's easier to do it that way. I mean, if we're honest, that's easier. And that's too short, but it's a pocket, so hopefully, is it even straight? What the heck is going on with this thing? Oh, I messed this one all up, but you get the idea, right? So you would clip the top and make this a pocket, and we would trim the edges off where they're too tall. So I would trim it like that. Okay. Clip it, make it a pocket, and then you've got your piece. And of course, because I cut that short, I would probably decorate it with something. You know, some lace or some washi tape or, you know, something. And then, you know, there's my card. And this one we just did the outside. We didn't frame it. We just kind of did a torn edge. Should probably wait till I glue this. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to. Okay, I'm not going to glue that one. I did want to show you one last thing, and then I'll let you go. Hopefully I'll be able to edit out some of that coughing I did. So these little pieces I thought would look really cute. Tell you what, man. I thought they would look really cute kind of framing this bird. I don't know if I should ink them, but I'm going to put a little bit on the edge. Not so that it... because it blends into the picture. Okay, and we'll glue this down. And you've made these little greeting card pocket folio things to put in your journals. That, and then this little guy. No, I didn't do any inking on the frame, so I wasn't really going to ink anything on this one, but I want the embellishments to kind of not stand out, but stand out enough. Okay, and there we have it. Cute, right? I love these. Okay, so this is the first episode in our greeting cards mini-series. I hope you guys are liking the Making with My Mess. I hope that I can come up with lots of ideas on how to use these greeting cards, because Lord only knows I have a box over here. So we will continue to make gloriously wonderful things out of greeting cards, guys, and I will see you with the next video. Bye-bye.